Hey, how's it going? Today we might talk a little bit about, I don't know what we're really going to talk about because my mind isn't quite all together. I don't know what's wrong with me. Seems like lately I can't get my thoughts together. So bear with me. But anyway, I did want to say that we're headed to the vet to get some lactating cow treatment because we've had a couple of cases of mastitis during this wet weather, which that happens because they lay in the mud when they're too lazy to walk out to the nice green grass and lay down in a nice clean spot. They want to lay right next to the hay ring where everybody's tromped down and it's kind of nasty, and so then they get nasty, and then there's some kind of bacteria that gets up inside the teat canal and starts a case of mastitis. And so that's where we're going right now. Is we're going to the vet to get some treatment for that. So I'm almost there. I'm going to shut you off for a minute and then I'll come back to you. Oh, by the way, don't forget to like and subscribe. So we made it back from the vet. We got what we needed. Thankfully, there's still a little bit of dairy infrastructure around here, and you can still find a few supplies. So why do we care about mastitis? Well, it's an infection, and we needed to clear that up. And it also affects our somatic cell count, which is something that they test for when they pick up milk. They pull a sample, and it is tested for somatic cell count, bacteria, and then the whole truck will be tested for antibiotics, and if they find antibiotic in that test, then they will go back to each farm to see where it come from, pull samples from each farm. Some haulers do snap test, which they test right on the farm right then. It's not a very foolproof test, but it is a quick test. Our particular hauler doesn't do that, so there is a concern. There is a concern among consumers that their milk has antibiotics in it, and I want to alleviate that concern by telling you, first of all, as farmers, we don't want to use the antibiotics because they cost money. And second of all, we don't want to make a mistake and ship antibiotics, so we dump the milk until we know for certain that it's clean. We have a tester, and we take a sample and incubate it for 3 hours, and it's based on a color change. If it changes colors, we know that it's free of antibiotics, and if it does not change colors, it still has antibiotics in it. So that milk gets flushed down the drain until she gives us a good sample. So you don't have to worry about antibiotics in your milk because we, for one, don't want to use them unless we have to. Two, we test before we ship. And three, if I make a mistake, if I ship milk with antibiotics in it, I have to buy that whole truckload. And if that truck happened to be dumped onto a tanker, semi-truck, before it gets to the plant, I would have to buy the whole tanker load of milk, and I don't want to do that. So we're very, very careful because I don't want to go through that. Even though I did purchase insurance in case I did something like that, and we had to dump the plant had to dump a truckload of milk, and it came back to me as the source of that problem. I still don't want to go through that. I'd rather pay the premium than make a claim, if you know what I'm talking about. So don't worry about antibiotics in your milk. It's not something that we want to use, and then it's not something that we want to make a mistake and have to pay for. So what is the benefit of keeping your somatic cell count low and your mastitis low? The incentive is quality bonuses. So in the milk world, you get extra bonus for low somatic cell count. I believe you get a premium below 200 and then a premium below 100. So right now I think we're running 140. I'd like to be a little bit lower, but that's still pretty good. I think the state requires you to be under 700 on your somatic cell count. DFA, which is where my milk is going, see right here, is requiring it to be under 400 for their standards, and then they start paying premiums at under 200, and then their highest premium, I believe, is under 100. It changes sometimes, so I'm not exactly sure on that, but they also test for bacteria. You get a premium if your bacteria is low, and that's an indicator of how clean your equipment is, like your jars, claws, pipelines, tank. All that has to be cleaned every pickup, and there is a special soap that they make that's just for that, and so the bacteria count is an indicator of how clean your equipment is, and so you've got to keep those two things low to get a good premium for your milk, and that can really add up. If you keep your milk premium, which we're grade A, but there's some wiggle room inside of grade A. If you are the top grade A, that can add up to an insurance payment a month. The premiums are worth it. So that's incentive for us to keep good quality milk coming out of the dairy and going into this food chain. So mastitis is something that we have to take care of. Well, if you made it through that, you deserve to see something cute.